Hi everyone, in the last video we saw how to create tables. Uh, we saw how we could define columns in those tables and different data types for those columns and show that they exist. And then also how to drop tables too, so how to get rid of tables. In this video we're going to show how we can actually put data into those tables that we create. Um, and so for this one, let's say I'm making a business. So I'm gonna create a new database for a business. Uh, let's say I'm making a coding school. Sweet. And then I say use coding school. And awesome, we are off to the races. So we got coding school, it's an empty database. Now we can create tables inside of it. So create table, and we're going to start off with um, our, our list of employees. So let's do that, employees. And so create table employees, open up with parentheses, and we'll define our columns. So obviously all employees have a name, and that name can be type varchar. All employees have a have a have a start date or a start year. Let's say, let's see, start underscore year, and that'll be int, and that'll be 4. Obviously, you don't really get past the year, or get past 4 for that. And finally, all employees are paid a salary. So we'll put 8. Nobody should really be probably making past 8 digits, unless Jeff Bezos. And finally, their position. So this one's a rather large database for varchar 255. Again, this 255 is just kind of a standard for a lot of things. It could probably be smaller, but I'm just doing it for ease. So close parentheses, semicolon, and so now we have our our table employees. Perfect, great. So now we actually want to put some employees inside of it. Great. So the SQL statement for that is the insert into statement. And so it reads like English. So insert into what? Well, we're inserting into this employees table. And what you give this statement are 2 things. You first give it the column names that you will be using from the table, and then the values that you're going to fill for those columns. So you always have parentheses right after, and so the columns that we're going to use are name, start year, salary, and position. It just so happens that we're going to use all of the columns. That doesn't always have to be the case. Sometimes you don't need to use all the columns. And in fact, if you are going to specify values for all the columns, you could omit this. However, I find it's best practice to just kind of leave it, especially because you might not know the order of these columns. So it's kind of important just to put all the columns you're going to use. It doesn't really matter what order you put them in, as long as in this next part you give it the values, and these values in these parentheses will need to match up in the same position as these columns. So you could put these in any order as long as the values that you insert them are in the same order. And so here I'm going to put some values. So we're going to put myself as the employee of the coding school. Start year, let's say I picked a course, start year of 2020, and they'll pay me $80,000, not too bad. Position, CEO. And if I hit the semicolon and enter, I know that my query was okay, I didn't get an error. And finally, the coup de grace, if I select star from employees, we will see myself in there. So there I am. There's the columns, and that's one row of data. And so that's how you insert a piece of data into a database. Now, I know probably the next question is, that seems tedious for each row. Well, there is syntax you can do to insert multiple pieces of data. And that is by simply, let's just hit the up arrow. Instead of ending, terminating, we can just hit a comma and do more people. So let's say we have Tanya, and she started in 2021 this year, and Tanya made salary instead of 50,000, and she will be an instructor. And I want to add one more. Let's say comma, put Sean, and Sean started in 2020 as well. Salary 35,000, and we'll just put him as an assistant. And so if I hit semicolon, you will see 3 rows affected because you inserted 3 things, and records 3, create, select, star from employees. We will now see, oh, we have duplicated this data here. So SQL is going to do exactly what you say, and I said to insert Michael again as well as Tanya and Sean, and so it duplicated that. In the next module, we're going to learn a lot about constraints and how we structure our table data so that we can prevent certain things and do certain things. But for now, just know that whatever you say to insert, SQL is going to listen, and it's going to do it once. So that's the end of the video, and in the next couple of videos we'll talk about what a schema file is and what a seeds file is. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.